Hey everyone, welcome to the High Priestess Demari channel and to another collective reading. I hope you're all doing well. So, we're going to dive in and see what the Divine wants you to know. They definitely want to talk about a change of perspective, okay? Collectively, there has been a shift, a massive one, okay, that has essentially put everyone into this energy of the student, okay? Learning some profound lessons, gaining nuggets of information, wisdom, guidance, knowledge, counsel, okay? There's a lot of absorption going on right now when it comes to divine knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and higher perspectives. So we're going to have a look at that. Okay, sorry, I don't know what that was, but yeah, we're just going to have a look and see what exactly they want to talk about. So let's get into it. So what has changed? What has fundamentally shifted when it comes to the collective consciousness as a whole? What are these like root energies that have been shifted? We have Queen Jezebel, Magnetic Royal Witch. Okay, interesting. Number 21 could be significant. What else? Venus, love and abundance. 25 could be significant. Coagulation, soul ascension, 38. And at the bottom, conjunction, becoming whole again, 36. Okay, so this is like the reconciliation of opposites. That's what it is. So essentially this narrative that has been perpetuating regarding what it means to be in divine feminine energy. What that encompasses, right? So as we know, there has been a war on the divine feminine frequency for millennia, okay? So, I mean, you only have to look back at the medieval witch trials to see that, okay? So I feel like that in itself is symbolic of what we see here. So essentially, it is the reconciliation of opposites. It is, and this is something that I have been reflecting, ruminating on myself recently. It keeps coming up for me, and it's something that I feel like is definitely being discussed here, right? Reconciling opposites. It's the Madonna whore complex, right? That's essentially what everyone has been having to navigate, because as a society, we go from one extreme to the other, okay? One moment it's all about, purity and, being virginal and in the energy of the maiden, and it's very youthful energy, right? Innocence, purity, okay, piousness, all of that. But to the extent where it became distorted and it became fetishized and it became exploitative, right, and predatory. So there's that energy being exploited. Then we had the collective swinging into the opposite energy, okay, where it became about sexual liberation, freedom, being able to express oneself, being able to form your own identity, okay, when it comes to how you want to show up in the world, how you want to express your sensuality, your sexuality, what it means to be feminine, all of that, right? And not being like, overtly submissive and not having a voice and, essentially just being subservient to the man, right? That shifted dramatically. So women began, women, for example, had more freedom. They were able to do more things. They were able to vote. They were able to, own a home of their own. They were able to have a job. They were able to do the things that men took for granted for a long time, right? So they were no longer reliant on, men being the breadwinner as such, right? And possibly having to endure abuse as a result of that, right? So women came to their own in that way. However, with that movement, obviously, people started to see new opportunities, explore new markets, okay? And yes, there was like a time where I feel like it did become quite distorted, where people would abuse their femininity in a way where they would try and exploit people using possibly sexuality, sensuality, using their looks, using their charm, using their magnetic energy, okay, but really exploiting that to the point where they're actually causing harm and causing damage in relationships, in friendships, in family dynamics, that sort of thing. So it became like their sexual energy became weaponized. That's the thing, right? So again, an extreme. So what's happening now is that collectively we're coming to our center, okay? There is an integration taking place, right? And not everyone's going to like this message, but it is what it is. And, you know, the divine is bringing it forward for a reason. So whether you want to accept it, that's your business. But I'm just here to deliver the news and the message. And what I'm getting is this, okay? So because we're having to address these polarizing, clashing energies within ourselves, where our sensuality and sexuality and you know, our inner beauty wants to be expressed, right? And then that sense of duty, that sense of discipline, that sense of you know, being divine and being very centered and being a being that operates from their higher faculties, right? Mostly from the higher chakras rather than the base energies. There was an element of suppression going on, and I can see that very clearly in the community, right? Very, very clearly how we have this opposing energies, like those who are deemed Jezebels and those who are deemed as divine feminines, right? There is that war that's been taking place for a long time. But I feel like now things are starting to shift, okay? People who are operating from that you know, energy of exploitation, right? To the point where, you know, they were weaponizing their feminine frequency, their feminine energy. That's not just women, that's men as well. People who were weaponizing their feminine energy and operating more from dark feminine energy. I feel like a lot of people are starting to realize how that's also, you know, causing harm to themselves, not just, you know, in their relationships and how they conduct themselves, you know, with their connections, right? But at the same time, I feel like also those who've been operating in more divine energy, they're realizing that suppression is not the answer either, okay? Because all that does is end up creating blockages, friction, resentment, and it's inauthentic. So it's about finding that balance between being able to show up, being sensual, being sexual, being creative, okay, being a divine force in the world, okay, but also having restraint, discipline, okay, feeding into that which is healthy, which is you know, high vibrational, that which reflects the values, the principles that you hold yourself accountable to, that sort of thing, right? And defining exactly what those things are. So I feel like it's important that, especially those who really do operate from their feminine energy, regardless of your gender, it's really important that you define now where your boundaries lie, your principles, okay, and not based on, you know, outdated dogma or social societal pressures, right? Because I feel like, you know, the old school train of thought are going to try and push you into one extreme, and the new school may try and push you into another. But it's about finding your own equilibrium, okay? Finding your own way of you wanting to show up and operate in this plane. And that's what's happening, right? So you are learning, you are growing, and you are transmuting these energies within yourself, right? Yeah. Because I feel like where the two have been clashing, there is an element where, you know, something can be learned from one another, definitely, okay? So even the things that you may not like about those who you feel like, you know, operates in that more dark feminine energy, there's still something you can learn from that, right? Especially if you've been on, you know, the receiving end of some kind of attack, or if you have, you know, had some kind of clashing with someone in that energy, there's still something you can learn from that experience. There's still something that experience will teach you, right? And there's still something that you can adopt and change within yourself. And just like the people who operate from that energy and they're clashing and may be triggered by those who operate more from this like higher vibrational energy, feminine energy, you know, same as them, right? There's still something they can learn from that experience. There's still something they can change within themselves that will enable them to create balance within that energy, right? So I feel like there's learning all around, okay? Definitely getting that very strongly. But I do feel like this is really important, okay? That's why it's being highlighted for a reason. Because in order to truly ascend and be in alignment with a divine counterpart, right? It's important that both parties are whole in themselves. You can't get into a union thinking that that union will complete you. If you do not feel whole and complete within yourself, you're always going to feel like there's a void that needs to be filled. And that's the point. And that has to come from within. The reconciliation of opposites, the Madonna whore complex. Yeah. So when you're able to find true balance with those energies, right, rather than them being opposing, I feel like you'll see less people attacking you in this way, right? So that's what it's about. It's about finding that equilibrium within oneself and coming whole again as a sacred being, okay? Being a true sacred feminine energy, hence Venus, okay? So, because this is the goddess, obviously, of love and abundance and fertility, creativity, sensuality, sexuality, all of those things are encompassing, right? So if you try to deny any aspect of that, you're going to run into problems. There is imbalance. So there needs to be a balance between all of those energies, okay? And that's what's happening. I feel like divine masculines and feminines are becoming whole again as a result of doing this work and integration work when it comes to their feminine, sacred feminine principle, okay? The feminine archetype within. Yeah. So like anima energy, okay? I do feel like that's why the goddess frequency have been coming in so strongly. I've been getting like different sacred feminine archetypes. You know, if we're looking at it from the Egyptian lens, I've been getting Hathor, Isis very, very strongly. Like the divine mothers have been coming in quite a lot. But obviously, if you want to look at it from like the Gnostic viewpoint, from the most like that frequency on its highest level, then you're looking at like Ein Sof type energy, right? The sacred mother archetype as a whole. But that's kind of been coming in really strongly, right? And it's for this reason, because there needs to be this integration process, okay? Yeah. Because ultimately, the goal is unity, okay? The goal is unity. And of course, those who don't want to do this work, those who want to constantly be at war and odds with others, then knock yourself out. But you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in, okay? Whereas those who are willing to look at oneself, take accountability, learn from their mistakes, and make healthy changes, yeah, that's going to create a more balanced energy in this plane overall, okay? That's what needs to happen. The war cannot continue forever, okay? That's kind of what I'm getting. So that's going to be really, really key. Yeah. And of course, like I say, of course, there's going to be some people that are just refusing to be out of their ego, okay? Right? There's going to be some people that will fight against that, but there's nothing you can do. You just have to leave them where they stand. But eventually, they will sort of fade into the background. They will become way less relevant, right? The only reason why this energy has so much prominence and relevance right now is because it's being fed, right? It's being seen as like, it's being given power, essentially. So what you need to realize is that this energy is becoming less and less relevant and less powerful because of this integration process, because of this change in perspective, right? So it's really up to you to decide what you give power to. And the same, you know, if you're operating from divine feminine energy, right? If you yourself identify more with the divine feminine principle, right? Regardless of your gender, I feel like, again, that is recognizing the things, the aspects of self that seem contradictory, right? Because we are multifaceted individuals, okay? There are things about us that don't make sense, okay? If you look at it like from a very like narrow viewpoint, right? But that's the point, right? It's paradoxical. Everything about the universe is very paradoxical, right? But it's simple and yet complicated, right? That's the crazy, again, paradoxical. It's simple but complicated. Everything's a paradox, okay? So you need to be able to comfortably sit in the discomfort between polarizing energies, okay? And when you realize that they're both two halves of the same coin, and, you know, the reason why you may fall into one extreme or the other is because there is some part of you that's saying, hey, we're not calibrated properly, we're not in true alignment, then you can see that and you can recognize it and say, okay, what do I need to do to get back into alignment, right? Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of us have been sort of struggling with that a little bit, right? Especially because of the dogma, because of a lot of religious ideology that's getting really like sort of shoved down people's throats again. I feel like it has created again another sense of discourse, disharmony, right? People are becoming more fractured again. So we need to come back to center, right? And say, okay, right? At the end of the day, we're human beings. We have certain, there are certain aspects of how we function that are innate to our being. It's how we operate. For example, a lot of people just want to stay hidden away and never deal with any other human beings again to avoid getting hurt. Well, that's not ideal, because whether you like it or not, human beings are social creatures. That's why we're seeing record rates of loneliness, okay, throughout the world. Like, people are literally dying from loneliness, from touch starvation, okay? That has become an epidemic to the point where it's becoming more of an issue than, various different mental health issues, right? For a while, we were experiencing a crisis when it comes to that. That's still, still the case. It's definitely increased massively over the last 10 years. But just the fact that loneliness has become so widespread, it's become so normalized, and it's literally having huge health impacts, right? Mentally, emotionally, even physically. That in itself is a huge problem, okay, that I feel like needs more attention. It definitely does, right? So no, the answer isn't being alone. It's about coming into alignment in oneself, right? Determining how you want to show up. Determining the kind of relationships, connections you want to forge, and getting back out there, right? Using your discernment, but being open to those new experiences, to those new connections, right? And of course, you're going to meet people who are at different parts or different aspects or experiencing different things, right? That are at different levels, in comparison to where you are, right? They may be further along in their journey. They may be further behind. They may be roughly where you are. It doesn't matter. You take people at where they are, right? But the point is how you engage them and to what extent you let them in. That's up to you, right? But the answer isn't being a hermit in a cave 1,000 miles away from all civilization, right? That's the point. Just in the same way, the answer isn't, isn't denying aspects of yourself that you think would make you less desirable, or denying aspects of yourself because society expects you to be a certain way. No, like, you need to define what that is for you, okay? So I feel like it's being raw and authentic and honest with oneself, because at the end of the day, if you just worry about how people are going to look at you and you want to be seen as holier than thou, then it doesn't make a difference, because I promise you could be like friggin' operating like Mother Teresa, right? I know obviously there's a lot of controversy around her, but if we just look at the reputation she once had, right? You can operate like that and there will still be people that have a reason to hate you, okay? So you're better off just doing what you do, okay? And just being yourself, living to your standards, living to your principles, right? Rather than, following the crowd and the ever-changing landscape of what society deems as to be like the best way to be, because that is constantly changing. Obviously, there's certain principles you want to follow, like don't go around attacking people, don't steal from people, don't kill people, these very obvious things, obviously. Obviously, there are people that do, unfortunately, but again, those are things obviously you don't want to do. But when it comes to anything else, that's more like, whether you like do something creative, or if you follow like a 9-5, or, how you want to express yourself in terms of the way you look, how you communicate, all of this stuff, that's up to you. There's nobody else's business at the end of the day, So again, just do you, essentially. That's the energy here. Yeah. So a lot of people went through a very heavy dark night of the soul recently, where you had to look at things that perhaps you have been suppressing about yourself, right? Especially if, your sensuality or sexuality has been wanting to be expressed, but you keep denying it. Yeah, that's definitely coming up to the surface. Of course, there are times where you may want to choose the path of celibacy. That's fine, okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's actually good to do that, okay, for a period of time. especially if you're wanting to cleanse, detox, if you're wanting to shift your energy, right? Yeah, especially manifestations as well, stuff like that. Yeah, it's good to do that. But again, it's not about saying, oh, well, I need to just like be touch starved because, you know, I'm a divine being. No, that's ridiculous, right? It's just you want to be mindful of who you're connecting with on that level, because we are aware that's an easy way to form a soul tie. That's an easy way to energetically plug into someone else, right? So of course you want to be mindful of who you're connecting with, but I just think that, you know, essentially like putting yourself on a rock isolated from everyone else is not the answer, okay? That's all I'm saying. So it's about, again, finding that balance. Yeah. And there could be people that have been operating from more this like Queen Jezebel energy, right? Who have been operating more from the ego and, you know, realizing that perhaps, you know, it is time to be a little bit more humble and realize that they don't have all the answers. They're not, like, yes, you know, they can be a divine being still, whether people see them that way or not, because, you know, people express themselves differently. But, you know, if you are operating from that space of narcissism and pride and ego and thinking that you can't learn anything more, or you're unteachable, or you know, you can't be inspired by someone else, or everyone should just bow down to you, then yeah, there's a problem there. You need to address that. But in the same way, you know, just having confidence, being in your own power, okay, claiming your own voice, your own authority, right? Showing up the way you feel you need to show up, okay? Being, like I say, self-aware, self-assured, okay? That's actually a very good thing, okay? So again, it's just about finding balance. I feel like that's all this is talking about, like finding balance. Yeah. And of course, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people have been demonized, right? Because of just who they are, right? Because, oh, like my religion says that's wrong, or, you know, where I'm from says that's wrong, or, you know, women are supposed to be like this, men are supposed to be like this. It's wrong to be in this kind of relationship. It's wrong to express yourself in that way. It's wrong to wear this. It's wrong to look like that. Like, no, this is ridiculous, okay? So I feel like a lot of this shit is being dismantled for a reason, yeah. So, and I feel like the people that are just constantly perpetuating, like, you have to follow this doctrine, you have to be this way, that's dangerous, okay? Because we see where that led before in history, right? When people start thinking like that, yeah, that's when you had like nations trying to exterminate whole groups of people. That's when you had, you know, different nations trying to exterminate like essentially women. Like, you know, it's a very slippery slope. So I would be mindful of who you listen to when it comes to stuff like that. Especially on YouTube, there's a lot of people that are perpetuating a lot of very toxic bullshit, to be honest with you. So it's about you coming to your own conclusion, right? Having your own sacred connection with the divine and following your own principles. Like, I can't stress that enough. I always encourage my community, right, to live by their own principles, their own rules, their own standards, and hold themselves by those standards and pull yourself up when you feel like you're slipping, right? We all have to do that. Look, we have Adama, Mother Earth. Yes, we are all one. We're all part of the same family at the end of the day. We're all on the same rock, okay? We are all being supported by the Divine Mother, okay? So it's important that we understand that people are different. Everyone has differences, okay? What matters is how you treat yourself and others, okay? That's what matters. Not how you want to, like, express yourself, you know? But yeah, I just feel like people need to just be mindful of that, you know? Respect goes a long way. It really does. And I just think that people are too comfortable being disrespectful because they think that they're better than, you know? And I don't like that. And I don't like that energy, and I don't like that mentality at all, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone's different. Everyone's experience is different. Everyone's learning it different, right? It's the only time I come down on people is when they're trying to do something destructive to others, right? Intentionally. You haven't even done anything to them. And yeah, I'm going to crack down on you because that's not okay, right? But, you know, if someone wants to do something that they love or they want to express themselves a certain way, or, you know, they love someone and you think, oh, well, that's outside the norm because that person's from a different place, or that person is this gender, or that person looks a certain way, or communicates in a certain way, or sounds funny, like whatever it is, right? No, it's not your business. That's the way I see it. Yeah. So I feel like the divine is just saying, like, mind your business, basically. Mind your business and focus on how you are showing up, okay? You can't control others. If they want to be toxic, let them be toxic, right? If they don't want to learn the lessons, if they want to stay in low vibrational energy, leave them there, okay? What matters is how you choose to show up. What matters is, are you learning? Are you shifting perspective? Are you able to see things from the energy of an observer, right? Yeah, seeing the bigger picture. So I feel like, again, a lot of people that will understand where I'm coming from and agreeing with this, they are reaching that space of feeling whole, right? Feeling like they have balanced multiple facets of self, right? Yeah, look, see, we have protection, call your power back, cut the cord, soul retrieval. And we talked about those soul ties, right? Yeah. So you may have had a period of time, an extended period of time, where you were single or celibate, because you were cutting cords, you were cleansing, you were purifying, you were shedding. That's absolutely fine. Like I say, that's something I think is actually really beneficial, okay? But does that mean you should never connect with someone again or never be physically intimate with someone again? No. I mean, it's your business. You do what you want, right? You don't have to if you don't want to, because there are people who are asexual, and that's absolutely fine, right? And again, no one should be demonized for that either, or made fun of, right? Because unfortunately it does happen, you know. But, you know, if that's something that you want a connection with someone, you want to be intimate with someone, you want a relationship, you want to get married, you want to have family, you want to date, you want to court, whatever you want to do, you know, it's your right to be able to access that, right? But you just got to make sure that, you know, whoever you're connecting with, you know, they're not bringing all kinds of toxicity and other karmic energies and all sorts of nonsense to your table. I mean, obviously, you know, you can only discern that as far as you can, but, you know, it's just important to be smart, okay, with who you connect with energetically. But that's not to say that you should be on an island, okay? No one's an island. Yeah. So I feel like someone just needs to hear this message, because I feel like there are people in my community that feel lonely, and I get it, you know. When you've had to let go of so many connections, where you've had to do this purging and healing, you know, I get it. It can feel very isolating being on this journey. Yeah, because for a lot of you, you've had snakes, right, in your midst. Some of them, even your family. I feel like for a lot of people, you've had to cut off a lot of karmic family members and ex-lovers or partners. So it's not easy getting back out there again. But I feel like the divine wants you to know that it's almost time. You are ready to meet new people, new friends, okay? People that may even become family, soul tribe. We've been getting this a lot. But also divine unions taking place, right? Partnerships, romance, relationships, commitment, marriage, right? Yeah, but it can't happen if you fear it. You have to be receptive to it. Yeah, because 42, the compass, I feel like that's what you're being guided to. You're being guided towards North Node energies, right? Those who essentially are aligned, because you are in alignment to receive these new connections, these new experiences, opportunities. So if the divine is pointing you in a certain direction, if they're giving you the signs, don't ignore it, okay? Yeah, because it's time for you to reap your harvest. It's definitely time for you to reap your harvest. Again, divine feminine energy. This is the energy of the mother. Healing, recovery, okay? Rejuvenation, childbirth, right? Mothering oneself as well as possibly others. So this is definitely like sacred feminine energy. Receiving your harvest, receiving abundance, okay? Birthing something new. This is all about forward movement, okay? So it's about learning from the past and moving forward with the knowledge that you now hold. Yeah, exactly. So you're no longer a prisoner to circumstances or a prisoner to certain energies or a certain thought pattern or mindset. You've been given the keys, right? And you're realizing that you had the key to your own freedom all along, okay? The number 33 could be significant. 333, okay? 1010. You had the keys all along, but you had to realize it. You had to wake up and see that you had the key to your freedom all along. But it required a significant change of perspective. Yeah. So again, going back to your roots, maybe again, there was some kind of programming or belief system or ideology or some kind of bigoted views or dogma or something that you had to work through, right? Some things that were imprinted on you from early on that dramatically affected your imagination, your ability to manifest, your visualization, or your dreams, okay? Made you sort of feel like you had to play it small, shrink yourself down, right? Play it safe, not dream big, but that's changing, yeah. 1111 could be significant, 111. Yeah, so this is definitely shifting. So there's a lot of unlearning as well that's taking place as well as learning. Yeah, 23, the mice. So there are definitely people I feel like that were in your midst that profited off of you being stuck, but they can't anymore, okay? Because these blockages have been removed because of the mental blockages that you've removed within yourself. Yeah. There's definitely a partnership at play here, okay? Whether this is one that's already in existence or one that's coming in. So it's like you finally learned what you needed to learn in order to cut off these joy thieves, right? To cut off these opportunists, these users, so that you can actually receive true partnership, union, tribe, community, family. Yeah. Where the love is real and reciprocal. We have the stork. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a strong energy of like motherhood, building foundations with a divine counterpart, childbirth, or, birthing something new into creation. Okay, something that's been held in your unconscious or some kind of dream or a goal or a vision that you've held for a long time is now able to manifest, is now able to be brought into fruition. But again, this is about doing it with others, not alone. Having support, building with another, right? So I don't feel like you're supposed to be an island. I really don't. I feel like that's the main theme here. That's why there could have been some issues being highlighted around not just like sexuality and sensuality, but also like just allowing people in as a whole, because a lot of people have been struggling with that. Again, record rates of loneliness, right? Yeah, and the divine doesn't want you to be an island. They want you to receive love. They want you to receive support. They want you to feel like you can build, okay, with a significant other or with others, right? Unity, teamwork, we talked about this. So those who refuse to do better, they're still in this very karmic energy of like wanting to take and steal and use and abuse. Yeah, I'm telling you, those people are going to become very irrelevant soon. Very irrelevant. Yeah, because look, the clouds. I feel like everything's been brought into full view, okay? It's now like the towers have been falling, okay? It's already been happening. Things have been exposed. People are being exposed, okay? Situations are now being dealt with so that, you know, there can be some form of liberation. So there can be some kind of resolution, okay? So you are free to move forward towards this new timeline that is now open to you, where you can actually make your dreams a reality. Yeah, it's time. When I talked about timeline, 37, it's time, right? So divine timing is definitely at play here. Because I do feel like people have had an opportunity to get their shit together, okay, and make better choices. But some people, like I say, are refusing to do that. And so they'll deal with the consequences, you know, and they'll be left behind. It's that simple. But I don't feel like the divine wants you to focus on what these people are doing at this point, because they're already being dealt with, okay? What you need to know is that something far greater is available to you now. You have to be open to it. Yeah, exactly. I feel like the past is like a closed book at this point. That chapter is done, okay? Your new chapter is just starting, okay? But you have the key. It's up to you to unlock it, okay? 26 with the book. So everything has led you to this moment, right? 15, the bear, yeah. So for some of you, you know, some of these issues you may have experienced could have been with a mother figure, right? And it was like you learned some profound lessons in order to prepare you to become a mother yourself, or because of the healing work you've done around possibly a mother wound, okay? It's helped you to be a better parent, whether it's a mother or a father, okay? Or it will enable you to be like a good parent, okay? Because you're healing these mother wounds, okay? Where you may have had like an overbearing mother that was strict, very conformist, right? Unwavering, unrelenting, uncompromising, right? My way or the highway type deal. Or you may have had a mother that was, you know, essentially more like a friend that didn't impose any real rules or restrictions, right? That may have just done whatever they wanted, that may not have shown up for you in the way that you needed a mother to show up, okay? That's going to be for some people. You know, so you didn't have the support that you needed, you didn't get the emotional support that you needed, or you didn't have the structure that you needed, right? The guidance, yeah. But I feel like that is changing for sure as a result of the work that you've done around healing the mother wound, okay? Whether you're a masculine or a feminine. For others of you, it's just simply that because of this balance, this alignment, this recalibration that's taking place, it is opening the possibility for you to, you know, get into a serious partnership where there could even be like childbirth involved, okay? There could be a child involved. But definitely union, okay? That's coming in heavy in this energy. So, you know, both aspects needed to be healed, the masculine and the feminine. And obviously, you know, in pretty much everybody. Otherwise, these unions couldn't take place, right? Because even if one person is like healed or significantly healed and the other person isn't, there's still going to be friction and there's still going to be clashing. It won't meld together in this way. So both parties had to do the work, essentially. There's definitely a lot of divine support here for it as well. It's crazy. Yeah, look, 18, the dog. Right? So this is about loyalty. This is a commitment to oneself. You may have even made a promise to yourself when you were young that you were going to fulfill a dream of yours, that you were going to have a better life, a beautiful life, or that you were going to do things differently, okay? That your relationships will be different to your parents' relationships, or that, you know, you're going to have like a family of your own one day or something, or that you would have pets, right? Or you want to look after animals. Maybe that was a dream of yours, right? That you wanted to look after animals, have a farm, have a veterinary practice, maybe a shelter, maybe foster animals, adopt animals, right? Take it however it resonates. Yeah. 39, the dice. Yeah. So I feel like where you felt you took unnecessary risks in your love life, like you dealt with people that you feel like you shouldn't have, it was all part of the learning curve, okay? That's what helped you gain this sense of discernment, okay? Rather than just taking what people say at face value, I feel like you're taking their energy at face value now, okay? What their energy is actually telling you rather than what their words or how they're presenting themselves is coming across, right? Yeah. So I do feel like there is someone coming in, or there's someone that's come in, and you may be afraid to take a risk based on past circumstances where people have possibly taken advantage of you, or you know, people have not been authentic and honest with you about their intentions. But I feel like this will be a union worth taking a risk on, because it's not a risk. It's something that is actually aligned and destined for you, right? But it may feel like a risk based on what you experienced. But again, you know, when you're really operating from that space of being significantly healed, then that's something you're willing to do. That's something you're open to, right? Because you know that whatever life throws your way, you have the ability to handle it. And you also have the ability to recognize the signs when something shouldn't be fed into, right? You have that connection with the universe, the divine. So what is there to fear? Yeah, exactly. So for some of you, I feel like there's definitely like significant healing that's been taking place, right? Yeah, it keeps coming out, this mother energy. Yeah, it could even be for some of you that your parents are reconciling, and that could be a shock, okay? For someone out there, you may be finding out that your parents have renewed their vows, or they've got back together, or they're working out their relationship issues. Maybe you're aware that maybe your parents were having some kind of difficulties, or they had some kind of separation, but they're getting back together. So that may make you really happy. Or you're finding out that you're pregnant, because that keeps coming up very strongly, and I've got that here, okay? So for some of you, you're literally finding out you're pregnant, okay? For the females out there. Yeah. For others of you, this is something that's on the table for you if you want it, okay? Yeah, we have the bridge. So, again, it's like the greater the dream, the higher you have to climb, right? The greater the dream, the higher you have to climb. You can, again, we talked about this earlier, you can play it safe, stick to what you've always known and be dissatisfied, or you can go the distance, okay, take the risk, make the climb, despite how it makes you feel, nervous, uncomfortable, tired. But then look where you reach the heavens. So anything worth having is worth putting the effort in. It's worth meeting halfway, right? Yeah. So in order to reach the sun, you may need to go to a height, or go to a level you feel is unattainable, but it's not, okay? It's not. Again, getting out the comfort zone, meeting people, mingling, connecting with people, going to environments, events, okay, where you're likely to meet the kind of people that you want to connect with, meet the kind of person that you would want to date, that you would want a relationship with. You can't meet people. Again, yeah, look, socializing. Socializing is coming in through very strongly. Yeah, look, 9, the invitation. Someone might invite you to an event, to some kind of date, okay? Someone might ask you out, and you may say yes, okay? And it may shock you where things lead, right? Things may actually end up working out really well, but you'll never know if you just turn every offer down, right? If you just refuse to mingle. So, but ultimately the choice is yours. But I feel like I'm tapping into a significant group of the collective that has been healing and is reaching a point where they feel ready to get back out there, get back into the universe again, get back out in the world, because they know their power, they know they're protected. We saw that, right? At the bottom of this deck, that you know you're protected, you know that, you know, you have nothing to worry about, that you've cut the cords you needed to cut, you've cleared your energy, you called the pieces of yourself back, okay, that people had stolen from you or that you'd given away, and you're ready, okay? And remember, the divine is always leading you, guiding you, protecting you as well. So what do you have to fear? You know, you can use your discernment, you can use your intuition, you get gut feelings, okay? So there's nothing to fear. It's time. Look, awakening. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. We talked about the integration process, okay? The dark feminine and the sacred feminine coming together. Well, I'd say the dark feminine and the divine feminine coming together as one into the sacred feminine, okay? Integration. Knowing that you are safe. A big part of divine feminine energy, being able to express itself fully without fear, is feeling like it's safe. And that's what the collective has needed, to feel like they are safe. And you are. That's what the divine is showing you, okay? that it's safe. It's safe to play. It's safe to have fun, celebrate, get out there, socialize, do what you enjoy, express yourself, right? Let loose, okay? Don't be so uptight. Don't be so serious. Yeah, it's time. So this is all about self-expression, doing what you enjoy, getting out there, having fun, okay? Letting your hair down. Obviously, don't do anything dangerous and reckless, you know, but, you know, I mean, there's always an element of risk or danger in life, you know, otherwise, what's the point? You might as well just, you know, stay under the rock, but you don't want to do that. So, you know, just live a little. That's what the divine is saying. It's time to start living again. You've done the surviving, now it's time to live. So that's the cycle you're entering. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to have a lot more fun, to have a lot more enjoyment, okay? So I would say embrace it wholeheartedly. But again, it's up to you, okay? If you feel like you need to keep yourself in a tower, then that's your choice. But I feel like there's a lot of people now that are ready to get back out there and just start living again, okay? So anyway, that is the reading. So I hope it helped. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you found it useful, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, click the notifications bell, click all so you don't miss any of your upcoming readings. But for now, I'm wishing you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.